Hi, welcome to my channel. I wanted to try to do a voiceover today and see how it goes. Now before I start, I just want to let you know that this isn't completed and not everything's filled out yet, but I wanted to just go ahead and see what state my journal is 6 months in. Before I start talking about this journal, I wanted to just let you know that this is my very first bullet journal that I've tried to use a lot of stickers and paper and washi tape and anything to try to make it more aesthetically pleasing. The only other bullet journal that I've tried to make into a reading journal just had writing in it, and then I put like a couple stickers and like maybe a little bit of washi tape, but it wasn't very good because I didn't have a lot of stuff to work with. But when I decided to start this bullet journal, I've slowly started to accumulate a lot more washi tape and stickers and papers. So if some of these spreads are a little bit weird or you think that they're not very good, it's because this is my very first year trying to do all this stuff. Since I was planning to make this my reading journal, I wanted to have a sort of bookish theme, so I thought that Harry Potter would be the best, especially since Harry Potter is my favorite series. I had a few other stickers that I had added, but they kind of fell off and I haven't replaced them yet. I wanted my very first page to be very Harry Potter. I decided to use a paper from an old thrifted book and then write on it as if it was a letter from Hogwarts, and then I put my name here, which I'm probably going to blur out. I just copied what the original letters say and then I wrote it on the paper. For the envelope, I just used normal printer paper and then try to fold it in the right spots. I did have a little bit of problems with it, but I think it looks alright. These pages is where I have all the books that I read throughout the year, and then I just have numbers to show how many I read. I have a place where I put the dates, the name of the books, the form of how I read the book. So AB stands for audiobook, EB stands for ebook, MB stands for my book, where it's my physical library. KB can stand for a book that I own on the Kobo or the Kindle, whereas KU will stand for Kindle Unlimited. These other weird ones, I think this means that it's a library audiobook and then this is a library ebook. But usually I just stick with AB for audiobooks, which most of them are Libby books. Some of them can be audible, but it doesn't really matter. I haven't written the details for these because I don't remember the exact dates. I need to go through my phone because I usually like to take screenshots whenever I finish a book, or I like take a picture so that I can try to remember the dates, but sometimes I forget and so I don't have the exact date, so I just put like the month and then like the estimate. I like using gold to signify my 5-star reads and then use black to signify the others. I'm still trying to figure out my spice ratings. I've been looking online at other people's spice determiners, and I think I'm starting to get an idea of how I want to do that. I just need to go through and edit these. When I first started this journal, I had actually already written in quite a few pages. So in order for me to be able to use this book without tearing out a whole bunch of pages, I just covered them with different types of paper that would block out whatever writing I had. I just wanted to cover the pages and then figure it out from there. So here the plan was I was going to do my favorite books of the months in brackets, and then I was going to figure out what my favorite one was in the middle. But obviously I haven't done that yet. I think what I'm going to do is I want to try to print pictures of the books and then just glue them on. I haven't really used black paper that much, and I've tried to use my gel pens to try to see if they show up. Some of them do, but a lot of them are skippy, and so I just haven't tried to write in my journal yet, because when I do, I want to try to make it look as nice as possible. Because the paper doesn't have dots, it's going to be difficult for me to make it straight. Whenever I try to do things without some sort of guidance, it usually ends up being crooked, so I just haven't bothered with it yet. So this page has gone through a lot. So this dotted paper is actually glued on top of the original paper itself because I had writing on here, but I still wanted to have this dotted paper. So I took this from another book that I had written in and put it on here. But the first time that I applied it, it was like super wrinkled from the glue because I used stick glue instead of the tape that I have now, and I think I put too much, so it kind of got liquid damaged. I just haven't really done anything because I don't really like this spread too much. Also, the library paper, I had redone it several times because I just didn't like it. I still don't really like it that much, but it's alright. I just don't want to keep tearing paper off because I think that the actual paper itself is going to not be able to handle it. The idea for this was that I was going to write all the book series that I was starting, whether I continued in a series that I had started before or if I was going to be starting a new series, but I haven't trusted myself to write in it because there are no lines or dots or anything, so I just haven't messed with it. When I made these spreads, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do. I just wanted to try my creativity and kind of scrapbook, and then I just needed to decide what I was going to use it for. I thought that I would try to keep track of the books I bought. As you can see, I haven't done that at all. But I do really like the spreads. I think they're really cute. The original plan for these spreads was that I was going to put my 24 books of 2024, but I wasn't really sure what that meant, so I just ended up not doing that. The plan for these spreads originally was that I wanted to write down all of the books that I had on my physical TBR, but it turns out that I didn't have enough space. I did have a whole page that I folded in half and then glued here so that I would have more pages to write on, but it was too chunky, and so I just decided to not do that because it was tearing the original pages out of my bullet journal. So I decided to just cut those out. After that, I was thinking about just filling these 2 pages up with the books that I wanted to read the most from my physical TBR, but I didn't even know where to start to try to choose them, so I just left it as is. I didn't really know what to do with these pages, so I thought like maybe I'd put the games that I wanted the most this year and then the games that I actually bought this year, but I just haven't gotten around to try to figure out how I was gonna set all that up. Here was supposed to be just like the beginning where I keep track of all the books I've read. I wanted to keep track of all the games I played. Here's where I keep track of all the movies that I've read this year. I haven't updated it yet since January. I haven't watched too many movies this year. I'm more of a series girl. Speaking of series, I have not recorded all the series that I've watched. These spreads were dedicated for my anime series, but again with the black paper, I just haven't bothered doing it yet. And then this is supposed to be where I was going to track my Shonen Jump manga reading, but again, I haven't done that yet. All of these spreads before were supposed to be yearly spreads, and now we're going to the monthly spreads. So this was the very first spread that I've ever made, and I actually thought that it turned out pretty well. I decided that I wanted to use this paper because it had a 1 on it, and I thought that was kind of cool. I wanted to write the name of the month somehow on each spread, so I used this paper to try to make it like a label or something, and then I wrote the month here. And then later on I got a stamp, and so I just put that right under the prologue. I was originally planning to use the chapters from the thrifted Harry Potter books that I have and then just like put it somewhere in the spreads throughout all of the first pages, but that actually didn't end up happening. The background for this page is actually from this book that I've had for a really long time. They have such gorgeous pages that I just never wrote in it because I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I've had this for probably almost a decade now, so I was like, you know what? Things are meant to be used. So I went ahead and tore off a page and used it on the background for this. And then here I just used a paper from another journal that I haven't used in years, and I wrote my goals and the books that I wanted to read that month. I wanted to have monthly spreads for the games, shows, movies, and all that I wanted to watch, as well as the books that I wanted to read. So I decided to make a page for the games I was playing because I was playing a lot of video games at the time. I had originally written the books that I read on the actual paper, but I decided that it didn't look very good, so I went ahead and redid it. So I went ahead and tore pages from my thrifted Harry Potter book and then just put it back here, and then used brown paper that I had and tore it up so that I could write all the books that I had read. Since these pages didn't come all the way to the end, I decided to put some black paper and then washi tape to cover the parts that weren't being covered. But it did make this part pretty stiff because the black paper is a lot thicker than the rest of it. But I think it's okay and it adds some structure to it. And then after all that was done, I decided to put some stickers to try to fill in some gaps. Now on this page, I originally didn't have any stickers on it, but I went back later on and kind of went a little crazy with the stickers. But I think it's still okay. I just really wanted to use all these stickers, so I put as much as I could to fill up all the space. While January was more of a vintage theme rather than a color theme, February was the first month that I decided to actually have colored themes for all of my months. I continued with the Harry Potter chapters on this one, and I put the name of the month as well as a stamp here on this spread. This is where it doesn't really get that vintagey because I didn't have a lot of pink vintage stickers at the time, I just decided to put pink construction paper here. I did use one piece and I just kind of glued it right in the middle, but it didn't come right to the edges, so I decided to put some Valentine's Day washi tape here to cover the edges. I didn't play a lot of games or read a lot of books in February because I was actually in the Netherlands for 3 weeks. I was able to read 6 books, however, while I was on my vacation. The theme for March was green. I was able to keep the same theme of having this vintagey paper with the Roman numbers on here, but because it was lower, I decided to try to move stuff around the 3. So I thought that this was really cute to have the dragon so I could highlight it. I also tried to have the stamp here, but it kind of didn't work that great. This spread is definitely not one of my favorites, but I still didn't have a lot of stickers at the time, so I just worked with what I had. I did play more games in March than I did in February. This is where I started to try to keep track of all the movies and shows that I watched each month. In January and February, I had used papers for the background. I actually do like these spreads though, because I try to use the colors and some stickers that would work with the books that I read. These 2 pages are definitely not as aesthetically pleasing as the one before. April was the very first month that I actually filmed my journaling process and posted on YouTube. I did forget to write the name of the month in this spread, but I think it was okay. It is a little bit ironic to me that this is my favorite spread because the month's theme was purple, and I've had a bit of a rocky relationship with the color purple. If you want to know my story with purple, you can go and watch the video here. I honestly do really love these spreads. I really like the paper that I used in the background. The stickers and the placement of these are just really pretty to me. I didn't play that many video games in April. Here I watched one movie and I watched a few TV shows, but I didn't really read any graphic novels or manga. This is the first book that I started reading in April, and then I just kind of wrote the rest here. I don't usually have a lot of thoughts of the books that I read. I read more for entertainment than for analysis. So here you can see I didn't write anything about any of these books. I just kind of kept track of the books that I read and tried to keep the dates accurate. I definitely read a lot of books in March. And I have some more here. This one, I'm not exactly sure if I read it in this month or not. I didn't even finish writing the name of the book because I didn't quite remember it. But I wasn't sure which month I had read this book, so that's what that is. The reason why this page is blank is because this is when I decided that I wanted to try to do 2-page spreads. This is the very first 2-page spread that I tried to do in this journal. I didn't use a lot of stickers on these spreads because I thought that the paper was pretty enough as it was, so I just kind of tried to fill in the middle part. I did not write a lot in this month because I was on vacation and I was busy doing a whole bunch of stuff, so I just didn't really write anything. Same thing here, I didn't write anything. I did write down the books that I read that month, but other than that, I didn't really do anything else. And now we're caught up to the latest spread that I've done. With these spreads, I did let myself go a little bit wild with all the stickers and everything. I was just kind of in the zone and I just kept adding more and more stickers because I felt like I needed to fill in all the empty space. I might have gone a little bit overboard, but it is what it is. I think that this spread is a little cool because it kind of reminds me of like old vintage wallpaper, and then like, I don't know what it's called, where they put like wood or something else on top of it. And this is kind of like a wreath on the wallpaper. I was in the middle of rewatching the Bridgerton series here. I just didn't put all the different episodes and everything. I watched the new episodes and I rewatched some of the old episodes. My husband and I also went to the theater and watched Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 was such a cute movie. It was actually really good and it made me cry. This month was definitely my anime month. I just binged watched so many anime right after each other. If you've seen the video when I made these spreads originally, this was supposed to be the manga side and this was supposed to be the anime side. But I ended up watching so much manga that I decided to tear this out and try to like put something else in there. It didn't turn out that great. I didn't read many books in June, but I did finish the main 8-book series of Bridgerton. We are now up to date with this journal. I'm going to be doing July's spread pretty soon. So if you like my journaling style and want to continue watching me journal, go ahead and subscribe so that you can follow my journey. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I'll see you in another video. Bye!